Hello, I'm Maria Christine, also Maria Service, and I'm hopping on today because I want to talk about taking the leap and doing the damn thing. I'm really excited because I'm going to be having my feature in Goss magazine is going to be coming out this summer. My feature in Auralis magazine is coming out this summer. We are about 10 days away of some of those things coming out. You can see them featured on my feed. And I know oftentimes when people see these big moments, it's like, oh my gosh, that looks so amazing. And it is so amazing. But I also want to point out the lead up to some of the biggest moments of your life where everything can feel like uncertain, like you're free falling, like you're asking yourself, what am I doing? And whether you're a founder, entrepreneur, leader, whatever it is that you feel called to do on this planet, I want you to remember that everything happens in levels. And it's like you might start out like you're in the shallow end, and you're like doing the thing, whatever that might be for you. And there's going to be a moment where you start to feel comfortable, you start to feel safe, just like how a kid would, like in the shallow end. You're like, okay, I've got this. I can still touch the ground. I know what I'm doing here. And I think all of us as founders, leaders, entrepreneurs, early on in business, or maybe just as you're getting your bearings under you, you finally get to this level and you're like, okay, I'm good here. And I know that I've had different levels of my business where I got to a certain level of like even fame, notoriety, authority, and profit in my business 2 years after I started it. So in 2023, a lot of things were going well for me. I was booking a lot of speaking gigs, doing a ton of workshops locally, and I was burning out. And also I was feeling called to pivot and do something different. And in that moment, it was like, you gotta take the leap. You gotta take the leap. You're gonna have these moments where you're gonna feel called to wanna stay in the shallow end. Because it's like, okay, like I've got this. I know this. My feet is touching the ground and I'm safe here. But there was a point in that time of my business where I had to leap. I literally basically burned down my entire business, and I went into mentorship with one of the most amazing online business coaches at the time, now even still. I joined a James Wedmore program. I hopped into his mastermind. I started learning the nitty-gritty and the behind the scenes of running an online business, knowing that I wanted to reach more people. I wanted to go more global. I wanted to do something different. At the time, I had no idea what I was doing. Honestly, from the online game to an in-person networking and like getting booked gigs from that realm, two very different worlds. But I had to take the leap. I had to take the leap. Even though it felt like I was going into the deep end, my feet weren't touching the ground, I didn't know what I was doing, had to do that to get to the next evolution. Now, most recently in my business, it's kind of been full circle because I've been able to, yes, while I still have an online brand and business and clients from all over the world, I almost had to reinvent myself for this next evolution, coming back, doing more local in-person events, hopping back into speaking gigs again, doing workshops, like turning that part on again after being in the online business world for 2 years. It was another time where I had to leap. Could have kept everything the same, could have kept running my business in the online realm. Things were working. But I want to remind you, you will be asked to leap at different times. You're going to be asked to leap before you know what's coming. That's the scariest part. As a business owner, if you are not growing, if you are not evolving, if you are not feeling that fire in your soul and in your belly and being like, okay, now I feel ready for the next leap, it's always going to feel scary. It's always going to feel scary because you're going to all of a sudden be like, okay, but I'm in this part now, and this feels safe and it feels comfortable and I know what happens here. And then life is going to ask you to leap again. And I want to remind you, take that leap. So recently, the leap for me has been coming back into the local realm again, getting back into speaking. And here's the funny thing. Speaking, I'm not afraid of speaking. Give me a microphone and I will talk for days. I am a true Aries fire. I also am a Sagittarius rising. I have a Leo South node. All of these things mean that I am fine being in the spotlight. Speaking in front of one person, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, That is not what is my biggest fear. So to be honest, yes, it was taking a leap, bringing my business back into the local realm, but then all of a sudden, of course, the universe even threw another ringer in there. Another way that I could evolve and step up my level of leadership, as well as give back to the community. So sometimes the leap that the universe will ask you to do might be in your business. Sometimes the leap might be something different. Maybe the universe is calling you to step back from business. I've had clients in the last 6 months who their biggest leap was actually stepping away from the business, focusing more on homeschooling their kids, focusing more on home and family, and that was super scary for them. That was the leap. Not a business leap, but like a next level of evolution and leadership. For me, and I share this more in my feature inside Aralis magazine, so I do recommend you go check out that new, it's the Codie Sanchez magazine episode edition. It's coming out in June if you want to hear the full story. But my recent big leap wasn't per se business related, but I knew it was going to help me into my next level of leadership. And it was saying yes to being part of a team. Now, I have run my own solo business for the last 5 years. And even before that, I was an occupational therapist for 8 years. I know what it is in my years in healthcare and mental health. I know what it is to be a part of a team, part of an organization. And if I'm being honest, because of my fiery, trailblazing energy, I never really found my home because I always love to run with ideas, take action, and just go with it. And so I'll admit, looking back, I mean, yes, I was always meant to start a business, but looking back, I maybe wasn't always the best team player because I like to just take things and move. And sometimes things moved too slow. So I've been in business now for 5 years, and this year I had an invitation to join a team. I am doing some support and helping as the creative marketing director for a local soccer club and program. We have a men's and women's team. We have a youth program. I got involved because my son's in the youth program. I really believe in the mission of this organization, and I have a skill set and expertise from my own 5 years of in business that I wanted to support and I wanted to help. And so that has been my biggest leap. Not the public speaking, not doing commercial ads, not getting on billboards. All of that's super cool. That's not my leap though. My leap was saying yes to something that I could have said no to something that feels way more uncomfortable, to something that like on paper it would have been like, oh yeah, like she doesn't have time for that. Like that makes sense. She's got to focus on her business. But I knew my leap and my next evolution was knowing how to better work in team. Also because I know my own brand and business will be scaling and growing and increasing team. Therefore, I need to improve my own capacity to hold leadership at a different level, to manage people at a different level, people under me helping me with things. Also to trust other people. Honestly, as CEOs and entrepreneurs, what I know for myself and many of my clients, especially my established CEO clients who they already have a brand, they already have a business, they're already doing things. The hardest part when you begin to grow is trusting other people. It gets super easy when you are the hat, you wear all the hats. You do all of the things. To be honest, you don't have to then trust people. When you get back into an organization, when I began supporting and helping out this local club, it was me taking a leap into my next level of leadership, was learning how to let go of control. Learning that I don't have all the hats that I have to wear. And also I need to learn how to trust other people to do what they're doing. And we need to develop a level of respect and communication with each other, that we know how to lean into each other in team. And if one of us is feeling overwhelmed, how can we support and vice versa? These are things that I had to begin to learn and develop. And I'm not going to lie, it has not been easy. It has not been easy because it's very easy for me to go back into patterns of, I want to take everything. I want to do all of this. Let me do everything. But also the level of leadership of knowing what's mine and what's not mine. And again, what is my soul here to learn? What is this next level of leadership that I am here to evolve into? And not only that, how can we support each other in this evolution? So I share more about this when you see the Aralis magazine feature coming out in June for the Codie Sanchez edition. I'm one of the featured stories in there. I share more about how this has been my edge this season. My edge was not the public speaking. It's not the billboards. It's not the doing the commercial radio ads and all this other stuff that's happening right now in this season. All of that feels like old hat, familiar to me. It is the team. It is trust. It is learning how to have respect and open communication with people and really holding each other accountable. That can sometimes be one of our biggest growth edges. So this is a reminder that if you are on this planet and you feel called to do something, is that it's not going to always be in your comfort zone. Yes, there's going to be a level that you get to where you feel safe, you feel comfortable, everything's going great. But if you're listening to this, there will be a time where the universe is going to ask you. It's going to ask you to take a leap. It's going to ask you to go out into the deep end where you can't necessarily touch. You don't know what's out there, but you will be invited to leap, to go deeper, to go farther. And I just want you to know, on the other side of the leap is pure bliss, joy, passion, and purpose. And if you can stay anchored and connected to joy, passion, and purpose, and if you have tools to deal with all the rest of it, the stress, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the frustration, you will fly. Allow yourself to fly. Allow yourself to fly. Allow yourself to leave the ground and fly. This is a reminder for whoever needs to hear it. Take the damn leap.